afternoon. Welcome to the April 15th, 2025 meeting of the Oshkosh Common Council. This is our reorganizational meeting. So, City Clerk, please take the roll.
Esslinger?
Here.
Flom?
Here.
Bulow?
Here.
Stevenson?
Here.
Nichols?
Here.
Larson?
Here.
Mughawar?
Present.
7 present.
I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have one item on our consent agenda, that is Oshkosh Board of Canvass filing of the official statement of votes cast for the April 1st, 2025 election for Oshkosh Mayor and the Common Council, declaring Matt Mughawar, Brad Spanbauer, Joe Stevenson, and Carl Bulow as elected. I'll take a motion in a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? I see none. If you'll take the roll on consent.
Esslinger?
Aye.
Flom?
Aye.
Bulow?
Aye.
Stevenson?
Aye.
Nichols?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Mughawar?
Aye.
Carried 7.
We'd like to take a few moments and say thank you to Councilmember Esslinger for his service as a Common Council member these last 2 years, and for the 11 years prior to that as well. So we have an award for Mr. Esslinger, and if he'd like, or any other council members would like, the floor will be open for some comments after. But an appreciation award presented to Councilmember Paul Esslinger, given in grateful recognition of your outstanding service as an Oshkosh City Council member from 2000 to 2009, Mayor 2009 to 2011, and Council member from 2023 to 2025. Given this day, and I want to say congratulations on a good term served, and appreciate all the effort. Oshkosh is a better place for you having served it, and thank you for serving it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Floor is yours if you want it.
Oh, no, I kind of said my stuff last time, so
All right.
I don't want to hold out progress here today. So.
Okay. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn sine die.
So moved. Second.
I need a roll call on that.
Esslinger?
Aye.
Flom?
Aye.
Bulow?
Aye.
Stevenson?
Aye.
Nichols?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Mughawar?
Aye.
Carried 7.
We are adjourned. And then what we'll do next is City Clerk will take care of the swearing-ins. And we'll call the next meeting and the next council to order in just a few seconds here. City Clerk.
Yes. I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah. You haven't heard the last meeting.
Good. Fair warning.
I mean, for me, calm.
Oh, I got it. You absolutely can. You might want to check with Jake and see if it's on. Mr. Spanbauer, would you like to join us?
I didn't, I mean, the last time I looked at it was 20. Yeah. And it was like the new Lollapalooza. Grungy.
We're not
Am I
gonna
on?
use that.
Brad's underneath. Did you see that?
Great. You two should stand.
Yes, they will. Councilmember Bulow, Councilmember Stevenson, if you could stand, please. If you could raise your right hand. I will ask you one question. All you have to do is say yes or no at the end of it. Do you, being elected to the office of Oshkosh Common Council member in the city of Oshkosh, but have not yet entered the duties listed, swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin and the ordinances of the City of Oshkosh, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the said office to the best of your ability?
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations. Thank you. One more?
Sure.
You can have a seat.
Do you, Matt Mughawar, who has been elected to the office, thank you, of the Oshkosh City of Mayor in the City of Oshkosh, swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin and the ordinances of the City of Oshkosh, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All good? Thank you. Just literally mic drop. Let's drop it. Walk. And when the city clerk is ready, we'll call the meeting in order, and she can take roll call for our new council.
I can, and I'm just going to go in the order as before, replacing Councilmember Spanbauer now. Spanbauer,
Present.
Flom,
Here.
Bulow,
Here.
Stevenson,
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Mughawar.
Here.
We have 7 present.
Next up, we have election of deputy mayor. The process will be, I'll call for nominations 3 times. A second is not required, but I'll call that 3 times. At that point, we'll close nominations. I'll ask for a motion to do so. We can have any discussion of any of the nominees, and then we'll move on to an election. So at this time, I'll open up nominations for deputy mayor. Former deputy mayor Bulow.
I will nominate Councilman Joe Stevenson.
Second call for nominations for deputy mayor. Third and final call for nominations for deputy mayor. I'll take a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Do I get to take a roll on that? Okay, roll call on to close nominations.
I'm sorry, who was the first on that? Thank you. Spanbauer,
Aye.
Flom,
Aye.
Bulow,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Nichols.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Mughawar.
Aye.
Carried 7.
Any discussion of the nominee? Floor is yours if you'd like it.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bulow, for the nomination, and I look forward to serving in this role. Very excited to help continue progress in Oshkosh, and I also want to thank Carl for the work he's done. You've done a great job as Deputy Mayor over this past year, so thank you.
City clerk, if you'll call for the names or the election of deputy mayor.
Sure. Spanbauer.
Aye.
You actually, yep, if you could say
Say
Stevenson.
your, yeah, the name.
Sorry.
That's on me.
Spanbauer.
For Joe Stevenson.
Okay. Flom,
Stevenson.
Bulow,
Stevenson.
Mr. Stevenson,
Stevenson.
Nichols,
Stevenson.
Larson,
Stevenson.
Mughawar.
Stevenson.
We have carried 7 votes for Stevenson as deputy mayor.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I knew this was coming, but I'm still not ready.
Next up, we have council seating assignments. We'll play a short game of musical chairs, possibly. Deputy Mayor, you do not have to sit at the right. You can sit wherever you want, so.
I like this spot.
Okay. Councilmember Bulow, you're up next.
I'm good.
Okay. Councilmember Larson.
Here.
Mr. Nichols.
I'll stay here.
Mr. Flom.
Good here.
Mr. Spanbauer, I think you have the last chair remaining.
Guess I'm good.
Sounds good.
That's probably good.
Well, it bodes well for us. We made a very good and quick decision on all of those. Look at that. Next up, we have discussion and approval of council rules. So just recently, we did have a minor update, small update to those. With the start of every new council, we put forth the current rules as is to the floor to be adopted again by this newest council. There is 2 proposed amendments to those. Those came from myself in conjunction with discussion with City Manager Grill. We would need motions to amend for both of those if those were something that council saw fit to want to add. I can give some explanation on those, but first I think we need a motion and a second to put those on the floor.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. The rules as they are good. There's a couple things that we routinely will try to update. Two of the possible amendments that I put forward. First, called irrelevant matters. I'll read it out. The Common Council shall only handle matters that are related to the management and control of the city property, finances, highways, navigable waters, the public service, the government, and good order of the city's commercial benefit, and for the health, safety, and welfare of the city. Unless otherwise required by law, the city manager shall not include on agenda, 1, any item on state or federal legislation that does not directly and explicitly impact the city. 2, any item concerning political or ideological topics. And 3, any items that are proposals to support or oppose a particular event, person, or organization that's commonly known to represent a political or ideological stance on a topic. Thoughts on this one were coming from some of the updates we've had where council members putting things straight to the agenda. There, it's still a bit of my thought that there needs to be some sort of guardrails a little bit on that. And this was a written attempt to try to maintain, civil dialogue and have a little bit of a guardrails on what we're asking staff to expend their time on, which is a very valuable resource. So, Councilmember Bulow, followed by, well, we'll go Councilmember Bulow first, and I'll figure it out.
Sure. I have no problem with anything, just a question to City Manager Grill. You feel good with these guidelines, that it's not going to inhibit you from any way of getting things on the agenda that we do need to talk about?
No, these were 2 different things that we had added in my previous employment based on some issues and concerns we had dealt with. So we had just talked about possibly including them here proactively.
Sure. I have no concerns about it.
Councilmember Larson, followed by Councilmember Nichols.
I think the 2 proposed amendments are just fine. I was hoping to add a third rule. I don't know if you want it in with these amendments. Not a third rule, sorry, a new action item that's not on the approved list. I don't know if you want it in with the other 2 as an amendment for all the 3 or not, or all the things at once. Does that make sense?
We're going to take them up separately.
Perfect. Then I'll do it separately. Then I'm good with these 2.
Okay. Councilmember Nichols.
I think my concern, and sorry, I rushed here. My concern here is who defines political or ideological topic. I think that really we should be limited by the Wisconsin Constitution based on a city manager form of government. I think we should have all the powers that are vested in the Constitution of the state, and I don't think we should try to limit ourselves based on that. My original point of who defines political or ideological topics, we live in a world right now where everything is construed as political or ideological, and so I think that limits our conversation potentially and might actually lend itself to more conflict on actually defining what is covered under this rule and what is not. So I am concerned by the amendment. I think that the Common Council should only handle matters that are delegated to it in the Wisconsin Constitution and the council rules, rather than these limitations that are included here.
Councilmember Floam.
I share those concerns. What worries me is largely the same issue of who defines or who gets to be able to be the arbiter of what is directly and explicitly political or ideological. That's the concern I share with this. So I understand the spirit of the rule. I do think that this is something that is healthy in concept, but the way that it's construed and written is something that I do have a couple of issues with in regards to council members' legitimate freedom of action. And I think the Wisconsin Constitution, as to Councilman Nichols' point, lays out enough for us. So I understand there may be issues that come up that are not necessarily out in the ordinary and maybe a little bit out of left field, for lack of a better term. But I just don't want to see us tie our hands with this kind of stuff. So for me, this is kind of where we get to a blurred line of a policy versus a rule. If this is going to be included as a hard and fast rule, then I'm going to have a couple of concerns with it. If it's a policy where, a member of council can talk to the city manager about a specific item that may potentially be construed as political, then I would feel a little bit more comfortable with it. I guess my question I have for the city manager is for something that could potentially be construed as political or ideological in discussions with you about an agenda item. Is this a hard and fast rule in your mind or not?
If a council member would come wanting to add something, I would have a discussion with them and probably the city attorney regarding that. And if you wanted it to be on there, then we would put it on there. This is more of, I guess, a protection for council members when you have people coming to you asking to take positions on things that aren't really related. And I understand that there's things in the Constitution, but it has served well in my past positions, just helping elaborate on what's in the Constitution. So I don't, we went through a whole bunch of discussions about what council members want on the agenda, so I don't think this would overshadow that. That would still be in place.
Okay. For me, it's just, I worry that we're setting boundaries to a point where we're, creating a solution, looking for a problem. I don't think that any of the 7 of us here are going to go off the beaten path and go on a wildly political tangent. But if this is something that you see as beneficial to the city when people are asking us to take positions that may not be germane to city business, that I do understand a little bit more. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Second one had to do with closed session. There's a bit of a gap just in terms of our current rules, in my estimation, clarifying basically who's allowed and when they're allowed. And this was to make sure it was exceptionally clear on the attendance, basically those that are admitted to a closed session for the business of the city. So if there's any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer that as well, or direct them to others. Councilmember Nichols, followed by Deputy Mayor.
I think this is overdue and incredibly helpful. I think people in Oshkosh get concerned when there's a closed session and there's this perception that we're having conversations that maybe should be public. We all know that there are reasons that they're private, whether it's negotiations or contract discussions, or things that will eventually become public, but the way you get there probably shouldn't be. It actually will put the city at a disadvantage in a lot of ways. So I think this is overdue and helpful. I'm certainly a yes on this one, and I'm glad it clarifies when we do need someone, an expert that is not on council and not on staff, to come into the room. This clarifies how we would do that. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, followed by Mr. Flom.
A question to the last one, not the closed session one. Do we have like a working definition, or where would we draw from for the term political or ideological in kind of enforcing this rule? Do you know what that definition would be, or?
Yeah, there's no hard and set
Sure.
one, but you could certainly establish one. Or we usually, when it's not defined somewhere, we usually use a dictionary. That's what my past practice has been.
Okay. Councilmember Flom.
So for the closed session items, this is something that I do support. I think it's, when we talk about potential bids, litigations, negotiations, it's very important that the city's position on those be a well-kept confidential item until it's necessary to disclose that to the public. So for me, I'm good with that one. This is something that is essentially a liability issue for us, and making sure that we toe that line is critical. So I appreciate that.
Okay. So on these two matters, I know Councilmember Larson has something he wants to speak to. I'll end up making a motion to amend to include the closed session one. I'm hearing counsel on the irrelevant matters one. I won't put forth that as a motion to amend at this time, but expect that to come back maybe after a little bit more discussion and maybe a further clarification on some of that. But I do think there's something good there, but I'm hearing you, and I have no intention of forcing something on it that nearly half of the council may not want at this time. So I'll do a motion to amend, and then Chris, what we'll do is we'll take a vote on the motion that I put forward, and then we can further amend it after mine for yours. Okay? So I will motion to amend to include the closed session update as attached on the council agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion on, I motioned, he seconded. Okay, if you'll take the roll on the motion to amend.
Spanbauer,
Aye.
Flom,
Aye.
Bulow,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Nichols,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Muglebauer.
Aye.
Carried 7.
We're now back at the original rules plus the update for closed session. And Councilmember Larson, if you'd like, now would be appropriate time to talk about what you're going to surprise us with.
Sure, it's not a surprise, I don't think. This is a long time coming. I move to add postpone indefinitely to the list of action items council may take.
I will second that.
Discussion on that. Councilmember Nichols, if you'd like to go first, sure.
Yeah, just a question, and it'll either be for Councilmember Larson or Lynn, and I don't have my Robert's Rules of Order in front of me. Is that defined in the Robert's Rules of Order
is.
very clearly so that we can know how to apply it? Okay, then that makes sense.
You want to go ahead? Yeah.
Councilmember Larson, can you just give us like 45 seconds of why you want that and why you think it's important?
Way less, yes. That was, I do believe that our rules do allow us to fall back on items that exist in Roberts if they're not explicitly listed here. The last time this came up, the answer was if it's not explicitly listed on this list of items, we can't do it no matter what. And postpone indefinitely is an action that I like because that's a way for a dais like this to politely say, we don't want to talk about this right now. For good reasons or bad reasons. Maybe something else is coming at a different time, maybe something else is coming a different way. But that's just the polite motion that we can make to not take action. And it doesn't take it off the table for good, doesn't do it for a set amount of time. It just means we don't have to talk about it.
Thank you.
I'm not a fan. I like our current operating rules as they stand. We do have a mechanism to not take up action. One, you don't even give it a motion in a second to even put it on the floor. That will kill something right there and have the same substantive effect. What I'm not, what I get concerned about is it's the indefinite nature of it, that it's in limbo permanently, and that the actions that we take in terms of staying organized with our resolutions and our ordinances, in terms of keeping those clean, having something just hang out there indefinitely is not desirable to me. I understand, I get it. From the previous discussions we've had, I just think there's already a mechanism in place to achieve that, and it doesn't leave it hanging indefinitely.
If I may, not to counter, but if I may, it can be brought back at any time by any person, which is good. And indefinitely in this case is section. So it would be, the end result would be, if I do it at the next meeting, it comes back the following April, no matter what. So it's not, indefinite is a misnomer in the title of it, but either way, I understand your point.
Okay. Councilmember Floam.
Yeah, the idea of indefinite postponement is when a scenario arises where something needs to be tabled for the remainder of the session, that gives us the opportunity to do so. Where council is essentially saying this is something that is not to be discussed for the remainder of the session, I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing to have. It's a tool in our toolbox in case we need it. It is in Robert's Rules for a reason, so I don't have an issue with including it. Whether or not we use it and whether or not council members use this judiciously is up to council and our discussions and our deliberations with this. In essence, I don't necessarily see it as a way for us to just say that we're going to kick the can down the road. This is for us to say we're going to take more time to consider this. There may be policy items that may take a while at the state level, for example, for us to flesh out. So I don't view this as a bad thing, in my opinion, at least.
Councilmember Nichols.
I don't know what I think about this, and so I think I would ask that maybe we delay this amendment so that we can postpone indefinitely this amendment, so that we can fill out the rest of that chart that exists that says exactly, is it debatable, how many votes do you need to actually pass it, and that way we can discuss it and we can also do our own research. My concern, the concept is fine, the way that you described it. Mm-hmm. My concern is how could it be used by future people on council that are not us, of course, in a way that's bad. And so I guess I want to put some thought into it and understand what those other requirements are. So that would be my request. I think I'd have to be a no without having to understand it better.
Councilmember Buelow.
I think I'm much aligned with Councilmember Nichols here. I think if we want to kill something, we kill it. I think if we want to postpone it, I like having a date to reconsider it. I'd rather have it not be postponed indefinitely. I share a little bit of concern with that, just like hanging out there forever. Like let's make a decision, yes or no, and move on. And if we need to have more time, we have mechanisms, and we could postpone it several times with a date to reconsider. But I think that's where I'm at on it.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I too, I think would like a deeper dive into this. Again, I don't mind the sentiment by any means, but just seeing how that looks practically, I would like to see that, give a little bit more time for staff to look into it as well. I think I also would worry about other councils effectively trying to deny everything this way instead of just giving a no. I've seen other communities like not want to rip the Band-Aid off, not want to tell a constituent no, so they just leave it in limbo forever. I do believe in decisive action, so I would prefer councils not throw things in a limbo and give a constituent a concise answer if they can at that point. But further, I think looking into this more, I think I'd like to do.
Okay. Councilmember Larson, anything?
I'll rescind at this point because I still believe, I understand the points everybody's making. I still believe that if an action comes up, we can default to Roberts if we need to anyway. So this could exist if it had to, regardless if somebody pressed hard enough. But for now, it's certainly not worth spending staff time on. I see the value in it because I see it happen in other communities. I understand the opportunities where it could be used, but it's not that big a deal to me that we should investigate it. So I'll rescind.
Who had the second?
Well, correct.
You'll need to.
Sending it, yeah.
Okay. And just for a news council member, but also council, and anybody listening, council rules can be adopted and amended at any time. This is just for this point in time, and if we so choose to make an amendment on something else in the future, we can. So it's not something that can't come back for another year or anything. So with that, is there any other discussion or suggested amendments? If not, if you'll take the roll on council rules as amended, which includes the closed session addition.
Spanbauer,
Aye.
Flom,
Aye.
Bulow,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Nichols,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Mughawar,
Aye.
carried 7.
Future agenda items, meetings and workshops. We have a closed session on April the 22nd. That's next Tuesday.
There's a resolution.
Oh, I apologize. I skipped right over resolutions. My bad. We'll go back to new resolutions. Resolution 25-174. It was mine, and I totally forgot it. This is the approval of appointments of council members as liaisons to various boards and commissions. We can have a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
This one, first I want to say thank you to council members. I think this is the quickest these approvals have ever been on an agenda. Thank you for getting back to me. And I think I was able to, for a little bit of fidelity, I'll use Chris Larson's word over there. I was able to, I think, achieve everyone's first choice or first request, and got everybody else's second or third, I think, for your second option. So worked out very cleanly and very good in terms of, I think you're going where you want to go and serving on the boards that you want to serve on for this next term. So there will be a couple more coming up very shortly, but these are the ones I could lock in for this meeting. So there might be a couple more, maybe next meeting. If there's no comments or other questions, we'll take the roll on 25-174.
Spanbauer,
Aye.
Flom,
Aye.
Bulow,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Nichols,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Mughawar,
Aye.
carried 7.
Now we're on to future agenda items, meetings and workshops. We have a closed session next Tuesday. Are you anticipating before or after?
We're going to need to reschedule that at
Okay.
this time, so.
You'll let us know. Additionally, we also have a council budget workshop they want to put on our radars. This is the capital improvement plan. That's June 25th, and that's at 5 p.m. If we could keep that on your radars. Other than that, if there's no other business, I'll take a motion.
We have one
You do?
thing, just, we typically give you a city council manual at the organizational meeting. It is online. It is on your council page when you go to the city website. Oh, and he put it up for you. If you pull it up, there are tabs for the different sections, so you can see, open meetings or ethics. Where we have done a video training, the link to the video training is on that cover page for that section as well. So that'll all be available online whenever you have time or want to view it.
Thank you for not printing those.
Yeah, I second that.
Yes.
Sounds good. Ms. Brill, anything else? No. Then I'll take a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.